Optimal running cadence is a powerful tool, not just for speed, but for better form, more efficient, and fewer injuries. And it can even help you run faster at a lower heart rate. The widely accepted benchmark is 180 steps per minute. And if you watch any elite runner, they hit that cadence effortlessly. Meanwhile, most of us runners over 40 are stuck at 160 or less, struggling to keep our heart rate down even at a slow jog. Search how to fix it and you'll hear the same advice everywhere. Use a metronome. But it just doesn't work. I know because I tried it. Instead of increasing cadence at the same pace, it just made me run faster. My intensity rose and my heart rate went through the roof, defeating the whole point. You've probably tried it too and ended up just as frustrated. So how do you actually fix it? In this video, I'll show you the simple cue I developed that helped me and many of the runners I coach increase cadence without feeling forced or robotic. Best part, it wouldn't speed you up or increase your heart rate. And no, it wasn't a metronome. The 180 steps per minute is quoted everywhere as the optimal cadence. But here's what most people don't realize. That number came from studying elite Olympic runners, not everyday athletes like us. Truth is, 180 is not a universal target. It's a data point from elite biomechanics, and it should not be a prescription for all runners. For most recreational runners, especially those of us in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, cadence tends to fall between 155 and 170 SPM. And if you're overstriding, which becomes more common with age due to mobility loss, muscle imbalances, or poor form, your cadence might dip even lower, especially at slower speeds. So, why is that a problem? Because the slower your cadence, the more time you spend on the ground, and the longer you spend on the ground, the more braking force your body has to absorb. That doesn't just waste energy, it raises your heart rate and increases the load on your joints. So, if 180 isn't the rule, what cadence should recreational runners over 40 aim for? While 180 might not be the universal target, research shows that gradually increasing cadence, especially if your cadence is under 170 SPM, can offer real benefits. A study by Heiderscheid and colleagues published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise had 45 runners increase their cadence by 5%, 10%, and 15% above their normal. They found that increasing cadence by just 5% to 10% can dramatically reduce braking force, lower the impact on knees and hips, and help you run smoother, faster, and more efficiently. Another study, also linked in the description, shows that increasing cadence by around 7% can lead to significantly reduced tibial shock, which means less stress on your bones and joints, especially in the shins and lower legs, where overuse injuries are most common. The best part, these improvements came without increasing oxygen consumption or perceived effort. This reinforces that a 170 to 180 SPM range is a practical and evidence-based target for most recreational runners over 40. Now that we've clarified what the science says about raising cadence, why does the most common advice about using a metronome often backfire? Just about every video or blog on increasing cadence tells you the same thing. Use a metronome.
Metronome. Metronome.
Metronome. Metronome.
Metronome.
But here's the problem. For us runners in our 40s or older, running to a metronome doesn't just feel awkward, it often forces us to run faster. When I tried it, and I'm sure you have too, my cadence did increase, but so did my speed and my heart rate. It didn't help me to run more efficiently. It just made me run faster and harder. Well, the goal is to increase cadence at the same pace and intensity, not to speed up or push harder, but to move better. And that's not just my experience. Research does back this up. Multiple studies show that while metronomes can help runners temporarily increase cadence, they often do so without improving running mechanics or efficiency. One study found that when runners increased cadence by pacing to a metronome, there was no significant improvements in joint loading or oxygen cost, suggesting that the change didn't translate to better movement quality. Another study found that external cues from metronome beats often led runners to push harder rather than improve their movement efficiency. And sticking to those beats becomes even harder at slower speeds. And it's at those slower speeds that runners over 40 struggle the most to stay in zone 2, keep heart rate low, and stay injury free. So, metronomes might increase your step count, but they don't reliably improve stride quality or reduce injury risk. And unless cadence becomes internalized and sustainable at your easy pace, the benefits won't stick. So if metronomes don't work for most people, what does? Years ago, when pacing with a metronome didn't work, I became obsessed with finding a better way to increase my cadence. I experimented with different cues, and one day, something clicked. Instead of thinking about how fast my feet were hitting the ground or turning over, I shifted my focus entirely. I started leading with my knees and letting my feet follow. By relaxing the muscles that push my feet forward, my foot will naturally strike the ground when the knee reaches its furthest forward point. That shift helped me raise my cadence from 162 to 178 at my zone 2 pace. Over over time, I turned this into a conscious cue I now call run from the knees. Most runners overstride because they swing their foot out in front of them. That extends the leg too far, causes heel striking, and creates a braking effect. But when you focus on running from the knees instead of the feet, a chain of things happen. Your feet will stay underneath you and your stride will shorten. That shorter stride means your feet don't have to reach out past your knees and center of mass. That saves time in every step and allows your cadence to increase naturally without feeling like you're forcing it. And when your foot lands, focus on pushing it down and back. Think of its forward movement as the recovery phase of the stride. Here's the sequence. Push your foot into the ground and back during the action phase. Then drive your knee forward and let your foot follow naturally in its recovery phase. This single shift changes the entire rhythm of your stride. Your arms should follow the same pattern. Instead of driving your arms forward, think of the backward movement as the action phase and the forward swing as the recovery. That will make everything between the knees, feet, and arms feel totally coordinated. The best place to practice this is on the treadmill. Once the speed is set, you can focus entirely on the cue without worrying about pacing yourself. That way, any increase in cadence you see is happening at the same speed and intensity, which proves that the change is coming from better movement and not more effort. Once I nailed this motor pattern, I was able to run the same pace with less effort and a noticeably lower heart rate, even on my easy zone 2 runs. So, no metronome, no drills, no extra strength training. Just a simple cue that refines your motor pattern, making running feel more natural and effortless. But is this cue just anecdotal, or does science actually back it up? Let's take a look. This is where it all comes together. 2 studies, both linked in the description, show that runners tend to self-select a strike frequency that minimizes energy cost. However, those who intentionally increase cadence slightly by shortening their stride showed a further reduced oxygen uptake at the same running speed, which in simple English means the runners ran more efficiently with less energy cost at the same pace. More research on gait retraining supports the same idea. By increasing cadence, not only does biomechanics improve, but it also lowers perceived effort and heart rate at the same speed. So yes, if you do it right, increasing your cadence can absolutely help you run faster at a lower heart rate. But how do you measure cadence and know if you're improving? Fortunately, measuring cadence today is easier than ever. Most modern sports watches from the major brands automatically measure cadence in real time. They do this using built-in accelerometers, primarily detecting the rhythmic swing of your arms. Since your arms and your leg movements are always synchronized, this provides a fairly accurate readout of your step rate. If you're using a heart rate chest strap, some models offer cadence tracking through body movement by capturing vertical oscillation and ground contact time along with step frequency. But if you're not into tech, there's still a simple, free way to do it, and that's by using a metronome app that you can download onto your phone. Here's how to do it. Run as you normally would, then play the metronome and adjust the beats until they sync perfectly with your stride. You're not running to the beat of the metronome, but you're adjusting the metronome to match your running. Once it matches, that number is your current cadence. Whichever method you choose, the key is consistency. Track your cadence regularly at your easy pace to make sure that it's improving. And remember, it's not about chasing 180. It's about improving your movement quality and running more efficiently at your pace. So if you've been struggling with increasing your cadence and running more efficiently, try using the cue run from the knees. Focus on driving your knee forward and letting your foot follow. When your foot lands, focus on pushing it back, not forward. Let your arms follow the same rhythm. Drive back, then recover forward. Nail the coordination and your stride becomes smoother, more circular, and far more efficient. And more than just increasing your cadence, it could transform your entire relationship with running. If this video helped you, drop a comment and let me know. What's your current cadence? And are you going to try this on your next run? Watching this video next will help take you closer towards your goals. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.